Hello everyone, Drip here. Now if you haven't been living under a rock, you probably already know about the arguments that me and the comic creator have been having. And I'm just here to address a lot of the things he said, just to point out the actual facts for people to see. First thing is, you made yourself look completely stupid when you said I was ducking. Because for one, why would I be ducking if I'm literally proposing you to debate in the most prominent and convenient way, which is a voice call? How exactly is that ducking? I'm offering you to debate. You're saying that because I refuse to reply to your message in text that I'm ducking. Bruh, I don't have to reply to your message in text. I told you that if we keep typing on YouTube comment sections, it's just going to be circular and no one is going to admit that they lost or won, because it's just going to be, an argument, and they're just going to be more biased and your goons are going to come support you and shit like that. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. I'm not a YouTube comment section debater. I reply to some comments and that's it. I'm offering you to join a call and debate me, and that's it. And you're saying, you didn't debate for 2 months, blah, 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 blah. I was doing important things for those 2 months. I didn't even remember you existed. Literally, the day that I was supposed to debate you, I showed up. I showed up to debate you. But if you remember clearly, there was a group chat where you kept kicking Electron out because Electron slammed you in your server and then you got mad and banned him. In that same group chat, I joined the VC with multiple other people, but you refused to join. You didn't join the VC because Electron was there. I joined the VC in that group chat and I was testing out my internet connection and my audio. And then the people in the VC were like, yo, Drip, we can't hear you, you're cutting off. And this is a common thing for me, which is why I barely debate in VC. Because at the time, the place where I was living had bad internet connection. And that's the case. Everyone in my server, literally a lot of people in the community know this, that I always have bad connection. And they always make a joke saying, oh, it's a black man connection. Oh, it's Nigerian Wi-Fi. Everyone knows that I had bad connection. Like, it's literally a meme. So it's not an excuse. It was literally bad connection. Many of you don't realize, but I don't live in the US. I don't live in Europe. I don't live in America. I live in Nigeria. And the place where I'm attending my college here is a village. It's a developing village. My college is built in the middle of a developing village. So since I don't live inside of the school, like, I rented an apartment that's outside of the school that's like way far from the school itself. And that place is not really, like, the internet connection in that place is not really strong enough. Particularly in the building I was living, it was blocking off most of the connection, which is why I was always lagging in VC. You can literally check any debate I had that was recorded and posted on YouTube. You can literally check it. I was literally lagging. You can check the debate with NTR. You can check the debate with Focus. I was literally lagging in those debates due to the connection. And it gets even worse, because those were the smooth times. Those are the times where I excused myself from my house. Then the whole thing about CCO, aka Exility, I told CCO, hey, my internet is bad. Can you debate someone for me? And then CCO said, all right. I then give you his tag to DM him, right? And then you DM'd him saying, hey, Drip said you wanted to talk to me. Excuse me, I didn't tell CCO that someone was coming to talk to him. And I told CCO the comic curator I told him to debate the comic curator. But your name on Discord is not the comic curator. It's Monitor MJ. CCO then says he doesn't know who you are. Obviously, he doesn't know who you are because you never introduced yourself as the person that he was supposed to debate. When CCO said, hello, who is this? You should have introduced yourself as the comic curator. He doesn't know who Monitor MJ is. It's not reasonable for him to just assume that you're someone else, because obviously there's multiple people messaging him at the same time. The reason I thought CCO was trolling was because I thought that you introduced yourself as the comic curator who he was supposed to debate. But you didn't. CCO then forgot about your existence because he decided to go play a game. And at that point, right after I made that statement, you didn't even say anything else. So at that point, I went over to do something else, right? Because at that point, I wasn't the one debating because it was already concluded that my internet connection was bad at that time. So as like a YouTuber and a power scaler, I get tons of messages every single day from fans or people who just want to ask questions. And sometimes the DMs I have with people end up getting buried by a lot of, new DMs and new questions. So your DM ended up getting buried so far that I couldn't even notice it. And whenever I look at like my list of DMs, I instantly remember, oh, this guy, I'm supposed to do this. Oh, this guy's supposed to do this. But I didn't even see yours. And then a lot of things took my mind away from the fact that the debate was supposed to happen. Yes, it can happen. I can just forget about your existence. It's not uncommon. It's not impossible. And you're trying to make it seem like I'm ducking because, oh, your internet suddenly went bad. Oh, you suddenly forgot when it was time to debate. Like, bro, nobody is afraid of you, bro. Nobody is afraid of you. I simply forgot about your existence. Heck, I didn't even see any of your posts, any of your community posts or videos. I didn't even see them for like the entirety of the quote unquote 2 months. I was literally in school, right? Writing a bunch of tests and assignments and a lot of things that I was busy with. So I didn't even think of your existence at all. I didn't even remember that you existed. It's completely possible for that to happen. So it's not something that's impossible. So don't try to paint a picture that I'm doing it on purpose. You can literally ask anyone that knows me. I literally go to school every day. Like, I'm in college, 3rd year. I go to school every day. It's not easy for me. So I don't get why you're trying to paint a picture of me being a duck or something like that. Like, nah, that's not me. It was only up until this week, like 2 days ago, when I saw a post saying, the God sphere is non-physical or whatever the fuck that you made. I'm like, oh, comic curator. How come I didn't see his posts? I'm subscribed to him. Weren't we supposed to have like a debate? And then I start remembering everything that happened back then. And then what happens is I comment on that community post, debunking everything he says. Obviously, he provides his retarded responses. I debunk those. He provides even more retarded responses. I debunk those as well. And then he provides another retarded response. I'm like, you know what? This is just going to go on forever if we keep doing this goon comment section shit, which is exactly why I don't text debate. So I offer him to come debate in VC, and then he starts bringing up you can debate for 2 months, blah, 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 you're a duck. I'm like, bruh. I moved apartments. I moved out of that place specifically because of the bad connection. And now my connection is good. So debate me. I'm not going to send anyone to debate you. I'm not going to have Tron or Auxiliary debate you. I'm going to debate you myself now that my connection is good. So debate me now. That's not ducking. I'm offering you to debate me now that my connection is good. You understand? And then his goons start, gooning, obviously, and dick eating him, obviously. And my point still stands that when you're ready to debate in VC, then you can DM me on Discord. Because I'm not going to force you, right? But I'm not going to respond to any more text gooning because it's a waste of time. There's no moderation, there's no coordination, no one's going to agree that the other is right or wrong, etc. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna do that shit, right? I'm just gonna give you the chance to join VC, right? You have me added on Discord, so I don't see what's stopping you. Whenever you're ready, just DM me, because I'm not gonna DM you. You're the one who has to agree to do it in the first place. So even if I DM you asking, you can still disagree like you did in text on YouTube. So DM me, still the same name, Drip Sauce. Just search for it on your Discord. And when you do, then we can arrange a debate. And that's it. And in case you decide to duck this opportunity as well, I'm just gonna make some things very, very clear to you. First, I don't, and I repeat, I don't require the afterlife to scale Goku to outer Refusal. It's not necessary. There's multiple other ways for me to do it. So you saying it's my, the RPG guidebook is my core, source of scaling, like, bruh, where do you find these lies? About the validity of the RPG, I already told you that the 2.5 multiplier thing stems from a mistranslation that spread across the entire Dragon Ball community in the 1990s, and it was also resolved on the Kaizenchu after it was found out. So I already explained this. This is not an issue whatsoever. And let's even steelman it and say, oh, the guidebook does say that the Super Saiyans for the 2.5 multiplier, right? It specifically says that that part is for the game. That doesn't invalidate the other information given in the guidebook. That's a non sequitur. Do you know what a non sequitur is? Obviously you don't, because you have no logical reasoning whatsoever. A non sequitur is when something doesn't logically follow, when your premise doesn't logically follow through to your conclusion. Just because one part of something is wrong doesn't make the other part wrong. That would also be a fallacy of composition, because you're asserting that since something is applicable to one, then it must be applicable to the whole. This is why I said that all the bragging from your fans about you knowing physics and whatnot, and yet you still can't make a simple logical argument. You're literally the guy who thinks Beerus's planet is inside of Otherworld. You're literally the same guy who thinks that the Kaioshin realm is part of the afterlife. You're literally the same person. Like, I can't take you seriously. The same guy that you're trying to discredit its validity is not only licensed, but it's also stated to extrapolate its information from the source materials. These source materials, right, are the manga, the anime, and the Daizenshuu guidebooks. The only reason why the 2.5 multiplier thing exists is because there was a miscommunication to the entire English Dragon Ball community, resulting in, the wrong things being put into certain guides. So this problem isn't exclusive to the RPG. It existed on literally the Kaizenshuu as well. Then you go on to state that Otherworld is physical because Goku went there with his physical body. Like that makes any sense whatsoever. It's quite literally stated that at the point of Goku's death, he was given a special body to be able to do all the stuff that he does in Otherworld. Goku quite literally explains that instead of getting turned into a soul like Cell and the others, that he is given a special body in order to do what he does in Otherworld, which is to train. And you go on to say that, there's gravity and there's, solid objects. I'm like, bro, where did you get the fact that there's solid objects? Otherworld in its entirety is stated to be non-physical. It's implied on multiple occasions to be a spiritual realm. So the special body that Goku is giving allows him to interact with a spiritual realm, or allows him to exist in a spiritual realm. Otherworld is not a physical place. So King Kai's planet is not physical in the slightest, bruh. It's not. Quite literally. And in order to have the effect of gravity, you need something with physical mass to warp and bend space-time. If there's stated to be no concept of time, which would imply no concept of space via relativity, and then it's stated to be non-physical, it means that not only is there no proof for, solid objects with mass to warp any space-time, but there's no proof of the space-time in of itself existing. I find it funny how someone who's bragged about as being a physics graduate or studied physics or astrophysics or whatever the fuck can't even comprehend simple deductive reasoning, bruh. You just wasted your time going to school. Let me teach you how simple deductive reasoning that even a child can understand works, since you clearly have zero comprehension on how deductive of reasoning functions. The first premise is that Otherworld is completely non-physical, so in order to exist there, you also have to be non-physical by default. The second premise is that Goku was stated clearly to have been given a special body that differentiates him from regular souls and allows him to interact with Otherworld and is able to train. So the conclusion is that at the point of Goku's death, instead of being converted into a regular soul, he is given a special body by the gods in order to interact with Otherworld and be able to train with it. And that's just all that there is to it. It's a logical necessity for Goku's special body to either make him non-physical and able to interact with a non-physical place, or give him non-physical interaction and existence and non-physical and conceptual interaction and perception whenever he's in Otherworld. Otherwise, it would lead to a reductio ad absurdum, because it would be absurd to assume that a physical being can interact with a realm that is stated completely to be non-physical without any form of, intervention from the gods or non-physical interaction that's established. So your argument would basically lead to a reductio ad absurdum. The last 2 points you made were about Snake Way and 6 months happening in the other world. First of all, for the 6 months thing, we know that time in Dragon Ball is not a unified thing when it comes to measurement. We literally see this with the Grand Priest measuring time in tacks in a tournament of power. So we know that they don't measure time in the same way. The fact that King Kai uses earthly terms to measure time implies that he's talking about time in context to Earth. Time will still continue to flow on Earth even if you go to a place where there is no time. Just because I step outside of a place with time and I go into a realm with no time doesn't mean that the realm with no time will stop flowing. That's like saying that if I step outside of a burning building, the building will stop burning for some reason. It makes no fucking sense. What King Kai and Goku were measuring was time on Earth. And just because they're measuring time on Earth in Otherworld doesn't imply that Otherworld has time. That's like saying that just because I step into a realm where there's no time and I count from 1 to 10, it means 10 seconds pass in a realm with no time. It makes no sense. It's a mental ideation of time corresponding to the living world, which King Kai is aware of. It doesn't correspond to the existence of time in Otherworld. Otherworld is specifically stated to have not just no time, but no concept of it, to the point that Goku can only use Super Saiyan 3 efficiently in Otherworld because there is no time for the form to run out. The form works way more efficiently in Otherworld. Another thing that, proves that there is no time in Otherworld is the fact that Goldo, when he fought against, Goku with the rest of the Ginyu Force and Frieza and Cell in, Hell, Goldo is a person who will use his time stop ability when he feels like he's backed into a corner, but he didn't use it. Not because he didn't want to, because in character, Goldo would use his time stop ability to fight against a stronger opponent, but he didn't because there is no time to stop in Otherworld. It's quite literally verbatim stated that there is no time in Otherworld. I think the last stupid point he made was that Snake Way has a length, so there's measurement in Otherworld. First of all, there is no physical length in Otherworld. Like I already established, Otherworld is non-physical, so there is no physical measurement in Otherworld. There is no measurement of any physicality at all. So that doesn't even fucking matter. Secondly, right, the 1 million kilometers thing was quite literally stated to be a myth or a legend. And if you check the definition for myth or legend, it's something that is not concrete or is not confirmed, that is not based on fact. So you're basing your argument on something that is not based on fact. Shows how well you performed in school. I'm going to make this completely clear to you. We do not require Otherworld at all to scale Goku to Outerversal. There's multiple other ways to do it. Like I've said, if you watch my channel, you'll see them. You don't require Otherworld. And you can go ahead and make whatever response or comment whatever bullshit your goons want you to. I don't give a fuck. Whenever you're ready to debate, my DMs are open and free to do so. There is zero reason for me to be ducking you or avoiding debating you intentionally. Nobody is scared of you because you suck. Your arguments are terrible and you're genuinely horrible at scaling. The people that I genuinely feel pity for are the 5,000 people you brainwashed into thinking you're actually good or competent when you absolutely suck at everything when it comes to logical reasoning and debating. You have no experience when it comes to debating whatsoever, and I can tell by your rhetoric, bruh. Anyways, guys, watch out for my bleach debunk.